Good afternoon, Dr. Trinidad and classmates. Today, I will be discussing about design of goods and services. Goods and services. Organization exists to provide goods or services to society with the intention of meeting customer needs or requirements. Great products are the key to success. This will entice consumers to patronize the goods or services of a company. Top organizations typically focus on core product. For example, Dunkin' Donut. Dunkin' Donut has buns and croissant in their menu, even drink. But their core product is donut. So if they wish to enhance or improve their products, they will focus more on their donuts. Customer buy satisfaction, not just a physical good or particular service, even if a product is expensive. A customer will evaluate the money he or she spends is worth goods or services that she or he purchased. For example, a hospital, St. Luke's Medical Center, is an expensive hospital, but the quality of services they provide cannot be matched by other hospitals here in the Philippines. Goods or services are the basis for an organization's existence. If the market doesn't like your product or services, you eventually lose your customer, the company might close. For example, Nokia. Nokia is no longer a popular brand for mobile phones because they refused to switch to Android, which was the new mobile system which their competitors pursued like Samsung. Limited and predictable life cycle requires constantly looking for designing and developing new products. For example, Toyota. They always come up with new versions of their cars. They continuously upgrade their cars and redesigning to keep up with the ever-changing requirements of the market. Utilizing strong communication among customer, product, processes, and suppliers. Innovation in product and processes. An open communication with your customers and requesting feedback enables an organization to come up with innovative goods and services that meet the requirements of the market. New product generates substantial revenue. If there's a new product, it excites the market and attracts more customers. This chart shows the comparison between goods and services. Goods are the material items that can be seen, touched, or felt are ready for sales to the customers, while services are amenities, facilities, benefits, or help provided by other people. Nature. Goods are tangible, while services are intangible. There is no physical manifestation, but you can experience the service that is provided. Transfer of ownership. Goods can be transferred from the seller to buyer when it was already paid for, while services cannot be separated from the service provider. Evaluation. Goods are very simple and easy to evaluate since goods are manufactured in batches, which produces identical units. In this way, a particular product offered by the company will have the same specification and characteristic all over the market. The same product offered by different can be easily compared, while services is complicated because the evaluation process may be subjective, meaning it depends on the background, culture, and past experience of a person. Return. Goods can be returned and traded, while services cannot be returned once they are provided. Separable. Goods can be separated from the seller, while services cannot be separated from the service provider. Variability. Goods are identical, like example, model of device, furniture, and food like beverages like soft drinks, while services are diversified. For example, a hotel. Two different five-star hotels may offer different amenities. Storage. Goods can be stored for use in the future or multiple purpose, while services cannot be stored. It is provided at the time when it's needed. Production and consumption. There is a time lag between production and consumption of goods. For example, in a restaurant, the chef may have cooked the food an hour before it's served to the customer. And services occur simultaneously. For example, in emergency room in a hospital, providing the medical service occurs in the same time when the patient needs it. He cannot wait for the following day for the medical services to be provided. Goods design is primarily concerned with solving real problems through functionality, not just what a product looks and feels like. Service design is focused on the organization and planning of people and communication in order to create optimal service quality. The objective of product design is to develop and implement a product strategy that meets the demands of the marketplace with a competitive advantage. Product strategy includes selection. What good or services should be offered? For example, the vegetarian population is increasing. That's why we can see a number of restaurants having a plant-based food in their menu. That is their strategy to attract vegetarians and expand their customer base. Number 2 is development. From product concept, going back my example of plant-based food, conceptualizing includes the selection whether a burger type, variant, or snack type of food. And the last one is design or redesign. In variant, it can be started with ground plant-based meat. If you feel that the market is looking more variants in the menu, then you may come up with a plant-based steak. So companies are redesigning and redefining their products to meet the needs of the market. Okay, so let's discuss about product life cycle. What is the product life cycle? The product life cycle involves the stages through which product goes from the time it is introduced in the market till it leaves the market. A product life cycle consists of 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. A lot of products continue to remain in a prolonged maturity stage. However, eventually, in every product life cycle, the product eventually phases out from the market. This may be due to several factors such as saturation, competition, decrease in demand, and even reduction in sales. A product life cycle analysis can help companies in creating strategy that enables them to sustain the longevity of a product and even adapt to market conditions. As illustrated in the screen, the product life cycle model was introduced in 1950s, but remains even today, even though people have started producing their own variation of this model. During the introduction phase, a company may experience low sales, high cost of production, and something financial losses because of innovative customers and competitors. In growth phase, the sales start to increase. Production cost for customer decreases, increases in profit, increases number of customer and more competitors. In maturity phase, this is the time a company experiences the peak of its sales. It also production cost per customer at the lowest level, experience very high profit, increases customer base, and no new competitor emerges in the market because of its success. And the last one is the decline phase. Falling sales, production cost per customer is low, profits start to decline, and the number of customers decline also. Number of competitors fall. My example product for the product life cycle are Apple iPhone and iPad. So first, let's start with the iPhone introduction. This is the stage when a product is introduced to the market. Usually, the prices are kept as low as possible to capture the maximum market share. However, this is only in the case of mass products. In the case of high-end products like Apple iPhone, the strategy is different. In the introduction stage of the product life cycle of Apple iPhone, the price is kept high so as to maintain the exclusivity of ownership. iPhone users will not prefer everyone owning an iPhone. That's why the price is so kept so as attractive only a premium segment of the market. During the production phase, advertising, sales, and marketing costs are usually high, coupled with low prices. This results in a period of negative profitability or loss for the company. The first part is true for iPhone as well. In order to In order to hold keynote conferences, creating advertising and marketing campaigns, it has to spend a lot of money. And therefore, in the introduction stage of the product life cycle of Apple iPhone, the company doesn't make profits from the first day. So iPhone in the introduction stage as of September 2022 are the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. So let's move to the introduction phase of the iPad. Apple iPad was launched in October 2001 and it completely changed the way we listen to music. As claimed by Steve Jobs during the launch of the iPod. Before the iPod, you would listen to music on the go on our Walkman and Discman. We never thought that we would be able to carry thousands of songs in the pocket. We had neither even thought that we will ever need to carry thousand songs on the go. You might not be knowing this, but Apple did not invent the MP3. It only made it mainstream and popular. The first MP3 was created in 1997 by little-known South Korean firm Seihan. However, despite being a late entrant in the MP3 market, the iPad blew away its competition with its advanced capability, easy to use, click wheel control, and most importantly, its cool factor. The first iPad launched for basic models having memory of only 5 gig and 10 gig and came with a hefty price tag $399. However, Apple created a buzz for MP3 player and its iPad through its brand awareness campaigns, informative television ads demonstrating the benefits and utility of the iPad, and of course, the iPad was marketed to be this cool MP3 player. Okay, let's move to the growth stage of Apple iPhone. By the time a product enters the growth phase, the customer has already started building a certain affinity towards it. This is the time when the product quality is maintained well so as to not let the customers down. As far as marketing is concerned, firms start spending more money on marketing now in order to both reach out to a wider customer as well as to become a top-of-the-mind brand among the primary target group. Because of the product, its review, and its marketing activities, the sales are expected to pick up sharply in the growth stage. In the case of Apple iPhone, every subsequent launch gets in some more sales and adds to the overall sales volume. Here, we are considering the iPhone as a whole, but if we were to delve deeper, we will realize that every iPhone model is at a different stage of the product life cycle of Apple iPhones. The one in the growth stage will be the predecessor of the latest model, i.e. iPhone 13. The latest one will be, which is iPhone 14, be closest to the introduction phase. The middle one's closer to maturity phase, which is the iPhone 12, and the earliest one closest to decline, which is iPhone 11. So let's move to the growth stage of the Apple iPod. Apple iPad's growth was mainly triggered by the launch of the iTunes Music Store in 2003 and the progressive improvement in the hardware of the iPad. Both these developments increased the storage capacity of the iPad and added additional features to it. Further, the iPad was offered in attractive colors and adding additional features. The second and third generation of the iPad did some face competition from firms which targeted the iPad on its size and features. For instance, Arcos launched its MP3 player, the Jukebox multimedia player, which could play songs, display photos, and play video. Also, Creative launched its Movo line, which was much smaller than the iPad. The MP3 player was becoming one of the fastest growing consumer electronic products since its launch and gained market acceptance at an amazingly fast pace. Expanding the product line became critical as the innovator market was about to reach its point of saturation. Apple launched the iPod mini in 2004 to enhance its market appeal. The iPod mini became the rage among the students and women, mainly due to its small size, a wide range of color, and a lower pricing. Apple introduced the iPad Nano, iPad Shuffle, and iPod Touch over the next 3 years to drive away the competition from MP3 players such as Samsung's YPP2 and Microsoft's Zune. The further expansion of Apple Store in the United Kingdom and the European Union in 2003 expanded the distribution reach of Apple's iPad, which was limited to supermarkets and big box electronic stores. During this period, Apple committed about 60% of its over advertising budget for the iPad, and by 2007, the Apple iPad had a mammoth market share in the marketplace with a market share of 72.7%. And if you begin to see it as a marketer, there are exactly the characteristic of growth stage of the product life cycle. Your products start to sell like crazy, you spend more on in terms of marketing spend, and it does capture sizable market share. This sums up the growth stage of the product life cycle of Apple iPod. Maturity stage of Apple iPhone. During this phase, the rate of increase in sales may decline, but the overall sales are maintained at a certain level. By this time, many competing products enter the market. Some of them may be genuinely good products, whereas some of them will be replica of your own product. Currently, the mid-generations of iPhones such as iPhone 11 will be in the maturity stage, whereas sales have stabilized more or less. iPhone in maturity stage as of September 2022 is iPhone 11 and its variant. Okay, let's move to the maturity stage of Apple iPad. The Apple iPad reached its maturity in 2008 with its global sales crossing 54 million units. According to Michael Porter, a business can achieve competitive advantage in a mature market by adopting either of these three strategies: focus, product, differentiation, and cost leadership. Apple maintained its market share during the maturity stage of product life cycle of Apple iPad by adopting their product differentiation strategy. Apple continued to introduce new features in every new generation of the iPad and stayed a few steps ahead of its competition. Before the competition could imitate the existing iPad, Apple introduced another latest generation of the iPad with newer and many improved features. This includes introducing color screens, video playback feature, camera, Nike Plus integration, offering a higher battery life, and much more. Apple continued to use the existing ecosystem of the iPad and Apple Music Store to develop newer products such as the iPhone, which is the cash cow of Apple. Apple also offered seamless integration of the iPad with its other products such as the Mac PC, MacBook, Apple TV, iCloud, to enhance user experience of the iPod user. A marketer needs to know that this is a common strategy in the maturity stage of the product life cycle where you prolong the maturity stage, or in other words, delay the decline stage. The beginning of the maturity stage can be indicated by Apple's competitors exiting the market due to their inability to implement any of generic strategy devised by Porter. Decline stage of Apple iPhone. By this time, the customer moves on to better things in life. They are no longer interested in the product because they offer nothing new as compared to other products that are currently in the introduction or growth phase. A product in the decline phase has become technologically obsolete. Most common product lifecycle management tactics implemented by brands to make the most out of their products during decline, including lowering prices, removing after-sales support to reduce marketing and personnel costs, or discounting the product. iPhones in the decline stage as of September 2022 are iPhone XR and XS. This is no longer offered in the Apple Store, but you may buy this outside of the Apple Store, whether it's brand new or secondhand. Decline stage of Apple iPad. Apple iPad sales declined to a mere 26 million units in 2013 after reaching its peak sales of over 54 million units in 2008. Apple could revive the iPhone in spite of the introduction of the iPad Nano and iPod Touch. However, this was not a surprise for Apple, as Steve Jobs had referred to the iPhone as the best iPad ever built during its launch in 2008. The success of iPhone cannibalized the sales of the iPad, as the iPhone had all the functionalities of an iPad. It did not make sense for consumers to carry different devices, a mobile phone and an MP3, when the Apple iPhone doubled up as a multi-purpose device. The decline stage of the iPad can be characterized by deep discounts offered by Apple, which generally maintain a premium pricing strategy for most of its products. It's likely this discount played a role in the decline stage of the iPad, as the iPad followed a different pricing strategy to Apple's iPhone and iPad. So conclusion. So the iPad is an excellent example of the fast shortening product life cycle of products in the current age of fast technological development. So even if the iPad reached the decline stage and eventually phased out by Apple, this was replaced by another product, which are iPhone and iPad. While the iPad must have lost its credibility as a product, it was listed as one of the best inventions of the 21st century. And the existing ecosystem of the iPad allowed development of the iPhone and iPod, the present cash cow of Apple. So Apple did not lose its iPod clients to its competitor, but it was able to retain them through its new product, which have the iPod features. So iPad continually comes up with innovative products in the market to maintain its leadership in the technological industry. So some consider Apple is a status symbol, as the Apple ecosystem is not cheap. Apple also offers a sense of exclusivity and poshness. So that's end of my report. Thank you.